The White House doesn't want to negotiate with Democrats on anything. They don't want to have to fund any Democratic projects, which
Right.
if you're going to go through the appropriations process, you're going to have to do that. The White House doesn't want to make those concessions. They don't have to make those concessions if they just go through a CR. So I do think that is the path you're going to see Congress go down.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with commentary editor Conn Carroll. And Conn, Senator Chuck Schumer got kind of beat up by the left the last time that he averted a shutdown in the Senate. Do you think that will affect the way he sort of handles himself when we get into another appropriations process coming this September?
Sarah, I'm going to say it now. There's going to be a Schumer shutdown
Really?
this October. Absolutely. And it's because, in large part, of this rescissions package that the House and Senate just passed. This is a list of spending cuts that the White House first sent to the House and then was approved by the Senate. And the argument Schumer made on the floor, and that I think is going to be repeated in his caucus a lot, is, look, we negotiated on a spending deal with Republicans to get to 60 votes, okay? This rescissions package, because of the 1974 Impoundment Act, changed Senate rules by law so that now Republicans can go back and cut spending that was previously agreed to by 50 votes. So the Republicans are essentially coming back and cutting out spending that the Democrats thought they had agreed to. So how is Schumer supposed to go to his caucus and say, look, we need the votes to pass the spending bill to keep the government open now, but Republicans next year, can come back in and then cut whatever they want. I think it's going to be a really hard sell for him to make to his caucus, and I think ultimately he's going to have to do something to show that he's a fighter, to earn his leadership spot, and I think that's something is at least a short shutdown.
Do you think that shutdowns are as politically toxic as they used to be? Like, I remember the coverage, 10 years ago when I was first starting out, where it was like a huge deal when there was a shutdown, and now, with how crazy politics has gotten, a shutdown just seems almost like a procedural part of the appropriations process at this point. Do you think it hurts Democrats to have that?
Bottom line, we don't know. I think every shutdown is different. I think it definitely matters who gets control of the White House, because basically when a shutdown happens, the executive branch has the power to determine, who's essential and who's not.
Right.
So the White House has a big say in, kind of determining the pain levels of a shutdown and who receives that pain.
Right, so they could make the Schumer shutdown feel pretty painful, right?
Right. So the question is, how do they implement that to up the pain for the Democrats while trying to make the pain as little as possible for average Americans? Because you don't want the public to feel pain, to feel that something's going wrong, because then they will be blaming Trump for that, even if they're going to be calling it the Schumer shutdown the whole time. So how this messaging plays out, how much Democrats really want to fight, how much pain they're willing to feel, I think these are all unknowns, and I think they're unknown to a extent that both sides kind of feel like they could win this thing. And when both sides feel they could win, that's when it's going to happen.
So do you think that Republicans will go all the way through the appropriations process, try to get, more funding for this, less funding for that, or do you think they'll just pass a stopgap bill at the end of the fiscal year?
Yeah. The short answer is they're not going to do the appropriations bill. I don't think the White House wants the appropriations bill. I think after you've already got this first reconciliation bill done, on that had a lot of border funding into it, you're already hearing lots of chatter from Republicans about, after we get through this next CR, we'll come back and we'll do reconciliation, but on defense. And it's that push for more defense spending, which really is the only reason Senate Republicans would ever even want appropriations process to begin with. Sure, there may be some projects here and there, but there's only so many people, so many appropriators, so many people on the Appropriations Committee that actually want an appropriations bill. I think you're going to have a lot more appetite, and definitely in the White House is for this, because the White House doesn't want to negotiate with Democrats on anything. They don't want to have to fund any Democratic projects, which if you're going to go through the appropriations process, you're going to have to do that. The White House doesn't want to make those concessions. They don't have to make those concessions if they just go through a CR. So I do think that is the path you're going to see Congress go down.
And finally, to circle back to something you said at the beginning, Schumer sort of feels this pressure to earn his leadership spot. Is there anybody from the younger generation, from sort of the left of the party, nipping at his heels? I mean, do Democrats have a bench in the Senate?
Not in the Senate. I don't think. You have Schiff, you have some other people that have their own kind of power structures. I don't think you have like an AOC. You don't have anyone. I mean, maybe Sanders, but he's older, so he's already part of that generation. I don't think you
Right.
have anyone that's kind of a younger leadership type in the Senate that could, plausibly push Schumer out at this point.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
You can get more from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.